Right then guys, first look at the number 3 built rig. We've not come up with any names for them yet, but we'll have to see. Maybe you'll see it in the title of the video. I need to have a bit of a think. I need 3 names for 3 white rigs. Anyway, this, as I said, is a number 3 rig. It's a 1055, 2GB 6950, 750 watt HX Corsair power supply, Crosshair 4 formula. Then we got down here 60GB Mushkin Calisto Deluxe plus solid state drive, a 1TB F3. That is a Be Quiet Dark Rock Pro, but I couldn't resist giving it a bit of OC 3D bling, because obviously we are taking it to a show, so I built them. So yeah, anyway. So we've done all that. Now I'm going to get Mr. Strawberry just to spin the case around quick, so I don't have to do it myself. Cable tidying 101. What can be achieved if you actually think about what you're doing. This is, I couldn't get it any tidier than that, I don't think. I've literally clipped everything up. Done it as tidy as I possibly can. It's just a case of thinking about what you're doing a little bit ahead of time. There's a couple of things I could do a bit differently now. I've decided to do it this way. Like, I purposely put the CPU cooler cable out and then back in again, so it's tidier on the other side. There's not a lot on this side anyway, but it was just it looked tidier that way. But yeah, that's the old girl all built up. When we're at the show, we're probably going to have both the sides off of this case, so you can see the tidiness of the back, and you can see inside quite well as well. Pretty much the only thing I've got to do for this now is put some lights in, because I've just realised I've completely forgotten about those. But anyway, we'll give you another flash in a sec. Right then, my lovelies. Just to explain to you something quickly, although we're going to be putting this in the middle of the video, this was actually recorded right at the very end after we'd done everything. The LED light kits have arrived today, so I've just put this one in. But as I said, I've done all the other bit of the video already. So when you start watching the rest of the video, that's why there's no light kits in it, just so that you don't get confused. But anyway, I fitted the light kits as well as the extra Molex cable, because I didn't have one in before. And I've basically run the light kits round. I've tried to keep everything kind of as tidy and as clipped up and out of the way as possible. Obviously I've had to try and do this all around the CPU heatsink and everything now, but we've got, it's a 2 metre kit that we've used. I know the event's going to be really well lit anyway, but we just wanted to put a little bit more light inside the case, and these LED runs are pretty good. And oh my god, it's an NZXT kit, whatever next. But no, the NZXT ones are actually really good. I've used them a few times in other systems. So yeah, we've got them in there. Like I said, it's just a bit of extra light to be able to light up certain parts. So yeah, there you go, that's it. Right then guys, we'll have a quick look at the overclock to start off with. As you can see, this is the 1055 rig. Just to remind you, even though I've only just shown you, this is the one with the 6950 2GB in. Basically, I've got a 3.9 GHz overclock with a 300 bus. HT link is 2.1 or 2100. Northbridge frequency, we've got a 2700. Got the RAM running at rated, which is 1600 MHz, 79824, and that's obviously 4GB sticks. The voltage there is reading 1.5, but it's actually running 1.45, but obviously with the load line calibration and everything, it pretty much just sits there all the time. If you turn the load line calibration off, it is a little bit unstable, so it does need a little bit more than 1.45 to be like that, but yeah, anyway, it's just getting all confusing now. But anyway, 3D Mark Vantage scores 18,885. That's with a GPU score of 18,495. That's overclocked CPU but stock GPU, just so that you know. And then going over to 3D Mark 11, you get a score of 4,731, and that's with a graphics score of 4,458. So all quite impressive scores there, really. I'm quite impressed with the 3D Mark 11 score more, because that is so close to the Intel i7 950 scores that I normally do when I do the GPU stuff. It's quite, you know, it's very, very close. And the 3D Mark Vantage score, if I'd used that with my 950 at 4 GHz, that would have been about 19,500. And obviously we know these benchmarks tend to favour Intel a little bit anyway. So yeah, there's not a big as gap as I was expecting, so I'm pleasantly surprised by this. Anyway, what I'm going to do now is fire Prime up and get hardware monitor running. Everybody asks about what temperature monitor tool I use, and it's HW monitor. But anyway, we're going to get that running. I'll show you some some thermal performance with the Be Quiet on the AMD. So yeah, let's get on with that bit. Right then guys, we've had Prime running now, probably for about like 15-20 minutes, something like that. It's just to give you a rough idea. Obviously we are running at 3.9 GHz. And the temps are staying below 50 degrees, but what I do need to remind you is that the temperatures on AMD do appear to be a lot lower, but a lot of AMD chips do tend to kind of get a bit shaky and maybe even crash at 60 degrees, so the actual thermal threshold on the AMDs are a lot lower anyway. So although, even though this is 3.9 GHz, it does appear to be quite low temperatures, it doesn't take a lot more temperature for it then to crash. It's completely different to Intel. So yeah, you just kind of need to bear that in mind. But anyway, 50 degrees at that voltage and that clock is still pretty good for the Be Quiet cooler. And we've also, it's not on 12 volt, I've just got it plugged in at the back with an adapter going into the motherboard, so it's not even running at full speed or anything. It's set up to be quiet than anything else, and obviously we give it a bit of a OC 3D bling to make it look a bit better. Wink wink, nudge nudge. Haha. Right then guys, we're going to do a bit of gameplay. We're just going to do Crisis, just to give you an idea of what's going on this rig. This is 0AA and gamer settings. As you can see by the top left hand corner, still fairly healthy frames per second. We've got no audio on today, I do apologise, but we kind of yeah, we just thought we'd let you be able to hear the rig. But then we realised I've just started doing some work on my server, and yeah, one of the fans in my server has decided to kick in. So, but the actual rig itself is pretty much silent. The only thing that you should really be listening for is to hear if the graphics card fan spins up while we're playing the games, or rather while Mr. Strawberry's playing the games. Who's getting up then? I thought you were going to shoot him with the gun then.
I was going to, but then realised I'd probably die as well.
What we'll do is do a long chunk of Crisis for you to see being played. And I know you're watching the game, but it's more so that you can listen to the rig, keep an eye on the frames per second, see what's going on. You've all been asking for AMD hex core stuff for a little while. Didn't that make you catch the grenade before?
I think he did, I don't know. Wasn't even meant to throw it.
I'm always quite disappointed they don't like blow to pieces. Over the barrier as well. And he still survived. Turn around, see if he's still alive.
Ah, he's dead.
What the bloody hell was that big explosion? Oh, they just bombed the boathouse, didn't they? Speed punch! And he still get these... Man of steel! What happened? He died! This is proper fail, this video, isn't it? Alright, and Straubs, you're not allowed to use any guns.
Fine.
You've got to beat or throw everyone up. Don't you get up. Frames a second. The lowest I've seen is about 38. Flicking back up to, oh no, we saw 33 then. There's an awful lot going on though when you think about it, and we are still playing in 1920 by 1200 as we always do. Direct hit by a tank. Shrapnel flying everywhere. Have it. Anyway, while we're watching Mr. Strawberry badly playing this, I'm going to pop you off the tripod and take you in so you can listen to the rig. So like I said, we've built it to be quiet. Pretty much any of the noise is coming from the graphics card, because obviously it's been gaming for a little while now while Mr. Strawberry's still trying to kill everyone with his fists. But it is fairly, very quiet. Temperatures are all good as well, and we've not even used another fan in the roof. But one thing I do want to kind of draw attention to, and I'm looking for the side panels. I'm just going to pop you down. You can watch Mr. Strawberry. I'm just going to get some side panels. I want to show you something. I got a lot of grief about my H2 video. If you have a look at this roof, think about it from an engineer's point of view. This is a stamped roof, not just a circle cut hole. We've actually got a stamped, what I would call a mesh grille. Inside, the blanks that come with them have got sound deadening foam on them as well, quite thick sound deadening foam with a thick plastic cover so that you don't get any dust ingress if you don't use the fans. The layout for cable tied in on this case is much better for a mid-tower case, and obviously you've got all the 7 hard drive slots. You've still got 220mm fans in the front with a much better breathability. It's got all these vents, but also on the side panels, and it's not going to pick it up I don't think, but this sound deadening. I can't explain it. It's like almost like a bitumen kind of stuff. It's like a real thick sound deadening, not plastic, but it is almost like, it's not tar, but it kind of does feel like that. It's kind of strange, and it's got a lovely cloth top on it. But again, if you have a look at the side, this is where the vent is. And you've got a plastic base, which is what closes it off, but then you've got this thick sound deadening foam with the cloth over the top. I personally, this was what I thought the H2 was trying to be, and I personally think that the R3 is just such a better case. Now, I got a lot of grief about being negative about the NZXT, because this was kind of what after the Phantom, I thought this is what, you know, I mean, they should have been aiming for the same quality, if not better quality than this. But the H2 really is so much, the Fractal Design R3 is such a better case for less money. The NZXT did really deserve to have its arse kicked. But anyway, we'll leave that. Like I said, I'm not going to do a review of the case as a standalone. It's really not worth it. But anyway, Mr. Strawberry is still badly playing Crisis, but we'll leave this here, and yeah, that's it pretty much. I'm not going to bother doing a conclusion. This is the end of what we're going to call the third rig, but we've come up with a name for it now. We're going to call it Avalanche. And the next system that you're going to see from us is going to be the water-cooled 692, and it's going to have an 1100T overclocked and water-cooled, 6970, which will be water-cooled as well, and we've decided to call that one Snowdrift, and I'll explain more in the next video. We'll see if anyone can work out why. But yeah, that's the end of this one now. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled over the next day or so for the next ones. Tiny Tom Logan and Mr. Strawberry. Oh look, he did the thumbs! Out.